in a high-tier game like this. So, Thorn just so very good at everything he does, which is almost everything. So it's basically like a tank version of Nomad with the CC he provides. And, he has self-healing, DPS, everything. So making the best of that. Losu, again, taking a lot of damage, but he does proc the trance. So, not the greatest thing ever, but, obviously not bad to be, at the same time, it's not terrible. So Berserk Force already dropping to half HP. Mulk already full bar here, and here comes a Dead Roots, very early Dead Roots, into a Rocket Launcher. But the Rocket Launcher, does go into the Dead Roots as well, so they get a really fast kill on Berserk Force there. Nice wombo combo with the double ultis there, and really bursting down Berserk Force before he could really even, chain heal, react to anything. And, Jolly gets taken out right after, and, man, they are just gaining energy like crazy right now, and they're just... I really like to see the energy gain in this level, or this round, because, 45 seconds in, I saw 2 ultis come up from, I think, everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's a really good play. Those roots by the Thorn, and I think Thorn's a little bit ridiculous. He's going to get nerfed as well. But
it's not unexpected if he does. I mean, he's very useful.
He used to be such a joke character. Like back in early closed beta, it's like, oh, you're playing Thorn. What a joke. You're trolling us really hard. And now he's actually a very legitimate and very strong pick due to some of the recent changes. But what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say it's not... It's hard to say because, like you mentioned, you kind of went inside my head and got my ideas. But I was basically saying how Thorn has really gone from OP to underpowered. He really doesn't have an in between point as far as the way they've been balancing him. Like they make big changes when they balance Thorn. How they changed his EX abilities, how they changed his shield ability. They instead of doing small changes, they've decided to remake 3 or 4 abilities at a time. So there's never really an in-between point for him. But at the same time, it does take a good player to play him to his full potential. And Mulk does play a whole hell of a lot of Thorn. So you can't say it's not undeserved as well.
Yeah, his most played is Thorn for sure. And if we look at his profile, look at that, 36%. Not as bad as my Astronomer, which is 50%. But, he's a very good character right now. And like you were saying during the match, just his CC is unparalleled. And with, nerfs across the board to every character's crowd control. Nomad was sort of left out a little bit, and Thorn also was not taken into consideration. And that's why, they're probably the most important characters in this game so far. Going back to more important topics, though, if you notice Berserk Force that game, he was dominating before his Guardian. But with that limited mobility, and now that Mulk found a strategy, they're trying to isolate the healer, he needs Jolly Rancher to heal him to be, pretty effective. Like, he can go in and, tank, and yeah, he has chain heal, but it's not like that kind of static, reliant healing that Jolly Rancher can provide as a Herald. And he just, got bursted down. His mobility is low, so if he spaces in on somebody, he needs allies to get to. And if he's cut off from his healer or away, or, if Thorn crowd controls him, after that charge, he really has nothing to get around. I mean, he can use the chain heal for some, 50% speed, but that only gets you so far for only a limited amount of time. It's not like any kind of, quick movement, and it can be dispelled, and people, see it coming.
Right.
He just got bursted in those last couple matches with that. So, like I was saying before, people are like, oh, Guardian's so easy. No, it's really not.
Guardian is probably one of the hardest Bloodlines to play in 3v3, because it's very easy to capitalize on a hero like this that has no trance, no good defensive, no reliable defensive ability, I should say. I mean, you look at all the other tanks, you got Thorn Shield, you got Glutton Shield, you got Vanguard Shield. Everyone else has a good shield. Guardian has a subpar chain heal that could be good in the right situation, and it has to be that right situation, or else it's a complete piece of crap. Like I said, I mean, if you take advantage of someone that doesn't have the cooldowns, you basically have to use his spacebar as a getaway tool instead of using it ideally as a maybe an offensive tool that you want to use it as. But as a good player, as an experienced player, you have to find a right use for both times separately, and you got to play to the strengths of how your team is doing. If they're being the aggressors, if you're playing defensively, you have to play it the way your team needs you to play it. So Sometimes you can't just be, that tunnel master that just goes in there and starts, cutting people's faces off. So, and that's kind of how Berserk Force was that round. He had to play defensively, but he was just getting capitalized on no matter where he went. So,
you know what I'd like to see from a lot of Guardian players? I'd like to see them bounce between their allies, sort of as proxies, more often for their mobility.
I agree. I think that's a good change. I think that they made, where it lowers the cooldown if they use it on teammates.
Yeah, and use him as sort of like a proxy to bounce back and forth rather than him just charging in. But here we go, we're going to see Mulk just diving in on the action, and it looks like a blind comes out. Berserk Force going to use that chain heal everybody up, give him some mobility, and it looks like a great pull by Mulk. That forces so many mistakes by the enemy team. And oh, look at this, he's coming back. Berserk Force actually going to get some nice cleave damage. Jolly Rancher going to get out of those roots, not going to get pulled back into the fight. So it looks like health advantage for the Worm team. Losu doing a very good job, and a double temporal lockdown comes down, and that is a Triforce arrow. Boom! 52
Ouch.
Damage, shakalaka. See you on the other side. So Mulk just trying to give it his all, but he's going to go down and need Invis, just hiding there like a little pansy in his stealth in the corner, just going to give up. So round well played. Berserk Force came back, being that kind of tank character, went on to Mulk, who has a lot of health, cleave, does a ton of damage, and able to, take him out.
Yeah, Berserk Force did not, he did tank 446. It really didn't look like he did, because he stayed at virtually full health almost the entire match, so I don't know if it was some serious tunnel healing from Jolly, but man, he took a ton and it did not look like it, so that just shows, complete healer and basically overrun the match right there, and didn't look like Jolly took a whole lot of pressure, and that's sometimes what you need. As I say that, Mulk is going to be jumping on Jolly a bit here, harass him a bit, but Berserk Force looks like he's going to stick with him, try and keep him away from Jolly, and it does work, as Losu in the back here, going 1v1 against this Need Invis gunner, but nice bubble comes out, and it forces Losu to play a little bit more defensively, not just throw arrows everywhere. But already we see all coming out from Mulk here. Berserk Force only at about 75%. Need Invis throw out the rockets, but not enough. He does get stunned in the middle of that, so not all 5 rockets got to come out. And Losu takes an execute right there, plus a lock.
What are you doing,
really low,
Berserk?
And Mulk actually takes out Berserk. Overextension there, really far away from his healer. I kind of missed that, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But Losu does have his ulti ready if he can make something happen here. Needs to make it happen really fast, and not going to happen as the ult comes out. And that is just lockdown ult plus, Gunner had ult too, so they're really against a wall there and nothing they can do about it.
Oh, man. What I would have liked to have seen Berserk Force do right there, if you noticed, he was just taking a ton of back hits from Thorn. If you're in a bad spot, and he almost had ultimate too, if you're in a bad spot, just fight. There's no point in trying to run away from a target that A, can slow you, B, is just going to hit you in the back all day. You take more damage, you might as well just turn around M1, get that ultimate, and then use that to get out of there. So, a bit of a misplay, and we'll just have to see how he performs now, as it looks like he's just going to go on the offensive and leave Jolly Rancher all to himself. This could be a very bad decision on his part, because look at this limited mobility. Gunner is just kiting him around all day, and he has not been able to do any damage. Stuck in the roots right now, and he's just going to try and go back in. But look at this, he is going to get killed in a second. No, he's actually going to get on OSQ. A great chrono right there by Jolly Rancher, was able to let him do that. And that was actually really surprising.
Even it out.
Yeah, no, without that chrono, none of that would have been possible. Need Invis would have taken him out. And it looks like Losu might wrap things up just for Need Invis if he focuses. But Jolly Rancher is stuck in the roots, and that could make it a one-on-one. So it looks like, we got the rune up over here, and it's just going to be Losu and Mulk duking it out. Favors on the Mulk right here, because he does have self-healing. And look at that, he can use those EX mushrooms for 28 more healing. Losu needs to get that rune if he's going to try and be able to survive. There it is. He got it. Might use a Triforce arrow. Not exactly sure, though. Cabbage Patch is down. Oh, no.
He's missing those EXs way too much.
I know, that's huge. And it looks like he might just get outplayed right here, especially since one more hit and he is done. Look at this, just one more Fungus Spore, one more Mudwalk, one something. But look at this, he does have the range advantage. Can he do it? Oh, nice dodge. This is getting close. Oh, and the pull comes out.
Job.
So good job right there. So it's 2-1 in favor of Mulk's team.
Yeah, that was like... Well, first of all, Losu had the advantage there. When he threw out the Triforce arrow, went right into a dead root.
Not
so
Triforce arrow, the lightning arrow.
No, the first time.
Oh,
the first time he threw out a Triforce.
Okay. My bad.
The Dead Roots ate it up, and then he threw out 3 lightning arrow misses in a row. You cannot miss 3 lightning arrows in a row and expect to win a 1v1 against a Thorn. So, sometimes it happens, and nothing you can do about it. But it's how they recover at this point, because right now they're one away from elimination. Or not elimination, but losers bracket kind of is like elimination. So. They really need this one here on the Worm team, and Mulk already got an ulti, and here it goes. Here come the Dead Roots here, and they're looking for a pull. He's going to pull Jolly Rancher in, and Berserk Force in big trouble, gets taken out by rocket launcher damage, and Losu could be in a lot of trouble himself, as Jolly Rancher going to throw out the lockdown on Mulk, keep him away, and they really need a counter kill here before Mulk gets it back into the fight and starts having his way. Execute to the back, 64 burst damage.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot you could do right there, and
with the lockdown amplify as well.
Yeah, that's going to be that one, and they are going to be going to losers brackets. Very very well contended for rounds though, very good matches.
Unfortunate. As you saw there, a little bit of overextension, and you can't leave a gunner alone. I'm just going to tell you guys that right now. You can't ever leave a gunner alone. You will die. So hard. Just after a couple, focus shots, I mean, they do 15 damage, just pow, 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 pow. And, you get that 30% speed buff to your attacks, and then you can, do your executes faster, get your mortar out faster, your rocket jump faster, and if you are not contesting her and you're trying to group up on a tank, like Mulk, then she's just going to have an easy time aiming and shooting. And you're just going to take a lot of damage very quickly. So, again, that kind of team coordination, they hate the Thorn. Like, everybody hates Thorn, and they're like, oh, this little beast right here, just little potato salad.
Potato salad?
Yeah, he's a potato salad, apparently. I don't know, I'm hungry. But, you can't focus tanks, especially a Thorn. They will not die.
Thorn is just really hard to focus, or you have to really be good at juking his Cabbage Patch shield. So
yeah, you have to CC him more than anything. Slow him down, and then he can't do the M1 spam, which is a majority of their damage. Like, usually when I see Thorns, it's like 50 to 60% of their damage is just M1. So you have to get your team to help support, maybe a multi-shot arrow, knock them back, slow them, herald space through, slow them like that, and then you can actually do some damage. But right now we're going to see Mushin versus in Soviet Russia. This is actually going to be a very, very important match. Best U.S. team versus best EU team. So it looks like we're going to
look at the names on in this game. That's like all-star names across the board.
Yeah,
like every player has a big name, and then it looks like the first return of Bud I've seen in a tournament in a long time.
Yeah, and that's surprising because he only plays for money these days. So it's good to see that he's actually playing for fun somewhat. Okay, here we go. Fight Taz, take this one away.
Alrighty, Bud. Throwing out the volcano pretty fast, but he is gonna. It looks like Jack is gonna conjure it, but the inner fire is gonna prevent him from getting slowed there from Jack. And another volcano coming out in a Rex, inner flame to avoid, and they are staying zoning a little bit here on each side as they're waiting for someone to make a mistake. But Iverson gets pushed away right away, and a volcano just barely missing Jack. I guess Jack thought he was gonna get hit by it. Throws out the conjure and misses. So, slow coming out in Iverson, and wow, he gets knocked right out of that volcano. That was a bit strange right there, but Iverson already dropping really low here, trying to get away here, but Sunby is in a little bit of trouble, trying to get heal on Iverson, but it's just not happening, and I don't think it's going to be enough time. Rex is throwing out an ultimate, does avoid it on Iverson, but who got taken out there? Bud actually got taken out, alright. So I thought Iverson was going to get taken out first, but actually Wojo does get taken out, Wojo being Bud, his famous WoW name, I guess you could call it, and Mushin right there getting mopped up a little bit.
It's not looking too good, especially even with Jackasm at 218 MS. I know he is definitely streaming this game on his own TV channel, so you can check out those replays afterwards as well as ours after this tournament. But Iverson just got a lot of damage early on, and he needs to really control how he acts. Maybe push Jackasm back in the corner, force Chip Sane to walk forward a little bit too much, then they can switch targets. But right now, they're just letting Jack sort of walk over him. And Sunby playing an Alchemist, I know he hasn't played in a while because he's been busy, moving up there in Canada. But, these are some of the top U.S. players out there right now. And look at that. Nice burst and nice combo. Rex with the Volcano, Jackasm, Harpoon, keeping them in their place. And now Rex is going offensive. He's feeling pretty hot right now. Jackasm could go down. Goo comes out, but no, it looks like Bud's going to get out of there. Barrier Uh-oh, and Jack has him pushed back into the goo. He has no way out, no fleet foot, nothing. And it looks like Iverson burning to death. And it's going to be a 2v2 situation right now. So great counter kill by Rex. Too. Yeah, mirror matchup. Let's see how this one goes. So I'm going to be playing very defensive as a healer. Oh, sleep missed. And this is really who makes the first mistake. Look at that, oh man. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but Yao K-Bud knows the range on these abilities. He is not afraid of when that Firestorm came out. Knocked back in a Volcano, good. Triple barrel there. Firestorm, he's building energy quick. Yao K-Bud does have the ultimate. He's going to go on to Chip Saiyan right now, but Sunbee's vulnerable as well. Mirror moves, but it looks like Yao K-Bud's a little bit faster. Goo comes out onto Rex, but knocked out!
No.
What is it Yao K-Bud doing? Oh no, completely wasted. I'm sure Sunbee's upset at that, as it looks like Chip Saiyan now has his. He's going to get Sunbee in there. Yao K-Bud off into the side, and Sunbee could be going down. Yep, that is it.
Yep,
so a bit better execution by the Cold Team in Soviet Russia. That is why they are on top, and this is their comp. You can't just, duel them out 2v2. They've practiced this for so long, and this newly formed Mushin, I think they've only had practice for maybe a couple days.
If that.
Yeah, because, it's a compilation of people from ORS and from Team Mushin. Chukova, my co-caster for Sundays normally, he was on Mushin, he's on the team. Sunbee was on Mushin. Iverson and Yao K-Bud were on Team ORS, so this is just like some of the best, and they have to get used to each other's playstyles, but here you go. Looks like, Taz, I'll let you take this one, my bad.
Oh, no problem, man. I was just checking out the zoning going on. I noticed there's a lot of zoning in the beginning of these matches. They really wait to feel each other out a lot. And actually, Iverson is going to go in there right after the volcano goes down, so maybe that is something he looks for, is the volcano to be spent. And Jack has him all by himself there, but he's going to be... Oh, no, nice volcano there on Iverson right as he uses EX space. And Jack has him, though, taking a lot of burst. He actually tries Kunju, but he gets shield in the meantime. And here comes EX Space Fire chasing down Jackasm, and Rex is going to ulti backwards into Jackasm, maybe assist him a bit. And Yao K-Bud is actually about to get volcanoed here, but Iverson really playing that Ravener really aggressive, which you kind of have to do on Ravener. And Sunbee, a counter goo right there onto Rex, and they're trying to get Rex back into the goo right there, but Yao K-Bud's all by himself in the back, really handling Jackasm and Chips really well, and a couple more damage. There comes a Goomba stomp right on the Rex right there, and it does take him out. So 2v3 situation looking good here for Team Mushors, and Jackasm one hit away, and he does get taken out. So a good, nice, strong round there from this warm team, and they take one.
Yeah, no, and I think the setup for that was when Iverson punted Jackasm way into the back, forced Chip Saiyan and Rex forward because he was out of position. He wasn't in line of sight of the healer, wasn't in range of the healer, and so forced Chip Saiyan and Rex over here. Jackasm had to come back out, and then he tried to get away, and Iverson, using that EX space, going off in this direction, trying to chase, could have been, punished a little bit more, but Sunbee and Yao K-Bud were there for the capitalization, and, punt back on Rex. Jackasm, trying to retreat with his allies, and the Worm team has a little bit more map control right now. They're sort of forcing him back a little bit. Everybody hates a Ravener. The M1 spam can just be atrocious, and the spin for range is absolutely fantastic. Jackasm cannot Kunju it. It's one of those kind of things that can be baited out. But here we go. We're going to see Rex diving on in. He's getting a little bit impatient, and it looks like he's just going to be okay, though. Barrier out onto Iverson. It's already broken. He's down at 50% HP. He's going to punt Jackasm back more into the fight, and that goo is absolutely going to be worthless, as Sunbee can throw out a counter goo right now. It's going to get all three team members in there, and it looks like everybody on the Cold team is getting low. Chip Saiyan goes down. Ultimate coming out, and Yao K-Bud's got Rex in the corner, but it looks like Iverson went down in the meantime. It's going to be a 2v1. Jackasm really doesn't have much of a chance unless something absolutely catastrophic happens to this Worm team.
Yeah, they're just baiting everything on him right now, and it's to be expected. I mean, like we were saying, all-star teams against each other, and these guys just know the abilities so well. Great job by Sunbee / aka Pete, as we all know him by. He just really stayed away from the pressure that they were, a lot of volcano avoisions from him. The harpoons, those things hit, gives ISR easy capitalizations on him. So it's really important that he avoids those volcanoes and those harpoons, and even the EX harpoons, which travel at the speed of light. So if he can keep away from those, I think he has a good chance of staying away from the constant pressure that ISR has been really known for. as Jackasm actually takes in a injection right there, and he's going to try and get healed up, but he's actually staying in against Iverson, doing a good job of keeping Iverson occupied, and Iverson really can't capitalize on a Jack because he's getting heals, and Iverson's just getting kind of CC'd away right now. But again, they're doing that weird zoning thing in the middle area where no one's being really aggressive except like Iverson and Jack. And here we go, both Igniters jumping at the same time. And I do believe that's a cold team. Nope, that was a warm goo. So as a counter goo comes out, double goo on both sides here. And actually Iverson gets taken out there a little bit, maybe too aggressive. But, everything kind of happened there at once. And Wojo / Yao Bud is trying to get a counter kill here, but Sunby is really having a hard time against both of these players. Both Rex and Jackasm staying on him, and he's just doing everything he can to try and stay away, but it's not going to be enough as Rex ulti goes right through him, and that's going to be 3-2 victory there for ISR.
Yeah, very nice play, and as Rex was saying earlier, he's a little bit discouraged. Jackasm, definitely has a latency issue, and everybody's up in the northeastern coast from the warm team. Well, other than Sunby, who's in Canada, he's a little bit more west. But that's where the servers are located. And again, this is the U.S. tournament, so you have to expect that. You can't complain about the servers if you're from Europe. Deal with it. You're playing in a U.S. tournament. We have an EU tournament tomorrow, but for now, you just gotta, face the facts and do your best, as it looks like we're going to be changing maps to Dubaku, the Fallen Fortress. So this is a little bit more open. It's going to be harder for Iverson to punt people away. He can punt them to the low or the high ground, but he's got to, line it up a little bit better. And it's a little bit more open, so we'll just have to see how that fares against Spearmaster. I
think Spearmaster's at a little bit of disadvantage here because he doesn't have a jump move where he can jump over walls and stuff.
I was about to say that.
Alchemist, too, has that same problem, though.
Yeah, well, they both have Alchemists and Igniters, so...
Yep.
Thinking comp-wise a little bit. Alright. Oh, nice Kanju in on the beginning there. Taz, take this one away from me. I'm getting a little bit dry.
Alright. Like you were saying, does go in a bit there, but Jackasm going to Kanju that. Iverson trying to be aggressive, but he gets his in-cap hammer Kanju'd there. So again, they're going to be minor reset, and Jack is actually in and out of battle. If you notice, Jackasm on Spearmaster likes to go in and out of battle a lot. And Wojo taking a lot of damage here. He gets volcanoed into a triple barrel, or maybe it's a double barrel, whatever happened right there. But already an ulti from Rex coming out. Goomba Stomp onto Rex, and Iverson is really low right now, unable to get heals. Actually, a goo comes out onto Jackasm, but not going to be enough for Iverson. Iverson does get taken out. And they were trying to get Jackasm killed really badly there in the meantime, but not much. Wojo looks like he just gave up right there, as somebody last one alive, and he is going to go down. So, 1-0 already for ISR. That's not what they want.
Yeah, it's not what they want, and, I think the reason Wojo gave up is he just wasn't hitting much, and Sunbeam missed sleep, I believe, so he just knew that it wasn't possible. Jackasm could get more heals and reset positions if needed. But nice punt out right there, so forcing a little bit of spacing, forcing the barrier off, and it looks like Jackasm's going to just sort of retreat, but Chip Saiyan is way in. What happened? I think maybe knockback or something, kind of positioning error right there. This Chip is going to have to run back out, but it's forcing the Worm team to make a couple mistakes as they are a little bit spread themselves. Sunby in the background, nice triangular formation by both teams. Look at that, their melee in front and the Goomba Stomp to finish off Jackasm. You cannot conjure that. The only thing you can do is Fleet Foot. And Iverson is absolutely going to start mauling with that Ravener M1 hero. He's just going to jump in the goo. He doesn't care. Having fun playing around in the puddle.
Yep. Nice even right there. That's a good strong round coming back right there. And 1-1 in rounds. It's getting pretty hype in this one. This is going to be coming down to the wire, I believe. And, it's definitely what I expected when I saw, the return of Moosh Ors, as I'm going to call him for a second here. And good to see what happens next. Already a Volcano Kanju onto Yao Bud from Jackasm. And as he's done it almost every single round so far. He's Kanju'd an early spell, either Iverson's Hammer or Yao Bud's Volcano. And he's gotten easy Kanju on it. But, he's using Jackasm spreading out his abilities pretty wisely to stay away from the pressure. As seems like Jackasm is the target they really want to take care of. As a nice Volcano avoidance from Iverson right there. Jackasm falling to about half HP here. Maybe they're looking to make a move here. Kick back from on Rex there, getting him out of the fight. and Iverson just jumping back and forth, trying to stay out of too much trouble, as he is taking a lot of damage being, in the front lines against the entire ISR team. As Wojo and Sunby are going to obviously stay back since they're the ranged healer and DPS respectively. And Iverson is taking almost 100% of all the damage that's being dealt right now. And, there's not much hold damage going on. Actually, a goo comes out here into a Goomba Stomp. I don't think it hit, but it did do a lot of... It might have, yeah. Actually, Iverson's so close to dying right now. Oh, my God, one hit. And actually, it's the Cole team is at a real big health disadvantage right now. Nice job there. Kunju into from the volcano, but K-Bub was waiting for it, and here comes another sleep in a volcano. So great job by Sunby and Yao K-Bud really making things happen. And you got to give credit to Iverson, too, for really being a freaking sponge for damage that round. 400 tanked on a Ravener.
That's pretty large, but the combo, Iverson was trying to hit his mace on the Jackasm, and they tried to get some other CC, maybe an injection, but they couldn't do it. And then somebody's like, "Screw it! I'm just gonna get on, throw a goo, get on the chip, blind jump that." And if you notice, K-Bud right here, he'll proc Kunju sometimes, and then Living Flame, so it doesn't do the damage, and he actually does some damage to Jackasm, knocks him back a teeny bit, then Crippling fires him out of the way. So very nice play right there. And not going to proc that one because his team's not ready. Iverson thinking about going in. Not going to happen. He's just going to be eating some pot shots. Jack has him trying to get onto Sunby, and it looks like Iverson's already getting down to about half HP. So both of these melee taking severe amounts of pressure. And oh my goodness, Jack has him could go down any second here. He's going to Fleet Foot, try and do some damage, trying to get back to Chip Saiyan, who has a goo. So if they overextend, something can happen. Jack has him one more hit. Great control by Iverson, and the Kunju not procced. And that is going to be it, as two conflagrations come out right there. Rex being knocked out of the goo for lols, and he's just going to give up. So it is going to be one map apiece for in Soviet Russia and Team Mushin. So great play by both of them.
It doesn't get better than this, Cast. It does not get better than this. 1-1 in maps right now, and these guys are keeping it seriously close. And, a lot of good play from both sides, to be quite honest. It's just awesome shit so far.
It's hard for us to really, we're saying like, oh, it doesn't get, much greater than this, but sometimes you just look at it and you're like, oh, okay, that just looked like a stomp. But really, it's just all those minor details and just those minor errors, and none of that could have happened unless, the teams force errors. And I guess we have to call that out a little bit more. So it's like, if they miss one ability, and that's what's huge about this game, and maybe a little bit too huge. It's like you miss one ability at these higher levels, and it's just like, you're done. Like, that's it. You miss a sleep as an alchemist, you might as well just start just standing around and spinning in circles sometimes, unless your team really comes back and supports. But then you're already out of map position, and you're clustered, so...
Yeah, as you were mentioning, they were forcing Jackasm to, use his Kunju early, and then Yao K-Bud, knows he's Kunjuing, with the volcano and such, and he just can inner flame, and, basically counters everything he's got, and he's forced to basically burn Fleetfoot after, or else get capitalized on big time. So they're basically making Jackasm play a game he does not want to play, which is he's not controlling the momentum of the game. He's really being controlled in that respect. So, the Ravener is doing a good job. He basically on Jackasm almost 90% of the time, just making sure Jackasm can't play the game the way he wants to, and kind of taking him off his groove. And Rex really has to change that for Jackasm if they want to really succeed in this. And, again, they go with the zoning thing. They really seem to like this, but, again, Iverson just chasing Jack around the entire map. And already, ultimate coming out from Rex here. I can't remember what it's called, but actually a counter group comes out onto him, but he's just going to space away. And K-Bud way too far in. He gets taken advantage of right there.
But Rex could die.
It'll be a counter kill. Wow, a counter kill comes out, and a Goomba Stomp is available. So we'll see what happens.
Completely missed.
100% energy gone right there. That's all you can really say when that happens. But you know what? Jackasm, not a good life advantage against Sunby, who could probably kite him for a good while as, Spearmaster alone. It shouldn't take out an Alchemist with all his... Even if you use all his abilities, there's no reason an Alchemist should die to a Spearmaster very quickly. So it gives a lot of time for Iverson to come out. And actually, a counter goo comes out into it. I think that might have been instant injection. Oh, wow.
Oh,
actually,
can they kill
Iverson? And, oh, man, Jackasm just barely surrendering.
Nice
the
punch
kickback
out.
on Chips. That could be huge right there.
That's
and Jack
it.
is all by himself.
One
and the
hit.
Kunju comes out. Fleetfoot and the counter goo.
The mate.
Nice hammer right there from Iverson. Long range. That was some sniper hamage right there. And, Chip's all by himself against the Ravener. That is not something you want to be against right there. And, Sunby is just going to probably throw out the DPS, but I guess he wants to give that to Iverson. Iverson wanted the kill.
Yeah, no, the play of the game right there. Iverson punting away the Alchemist and punting Jackasm in opposite directions forces positioning errors all over the place. A, you can't heal. B, if you're trying to heal, artillery heals usually aren't accurate, so you're getting less effectiveness. And then you can change targets to whoever you want. Look at that. See, Volcano to Living Flame again by Bud. Forced to blow that Fleetfoot. Now he's back in on the fight, and they can really punish him. But look at this support. Chip Saiyan and Rex covering for their teammate. And punt again. Jack has him into the corner. Sunbee's going to be punished by Rex right there. Nice knockback. And so positioning errors by both teams are being forced. Iverson punting away Chip Saiyan. So, they're trying to reform, trying to get back into that formation. Iverson, after a couple more heals, will be back in the front. Look at this. Sort of a triangle right now. Iverson's just doing a little bit of dodging. And then, both of the other guys in the back. Jack has him going in. And it looks like, he went in a little bit too deep. Kunju not going to be procced. He could Whirlwind, and that's very deadly against an Alchemist who has no mobility options. And they know that. They're trying to knock him back. And Iverson, missed the punt onto Jackasm. Not going to punt him over the wall, which you can do when he is spinning. And, he's just going to go down. Conflagration also came out. And that is going to be 1 apiece in the rounds. So 1-1 in the maps and 1-1 in this third map for these 2 rounds.
Yep. And, you saw Jackasm do a little bit more of controlling the battlefield, and that's not something you can really let him do. He wasn't really taking a whole lot of pressure throughout that match. He did, end the match with full HP, even if it was on the healing buffer. So, as a Spearmaster, if you notice your life is full, you can... be aggressive, and if a Spearmaster is being aggressive, then he's just going to usually be controlling the entire battlefield. And again, Iverson missing a punt barely right there, and not able to really capitalize. Nice reflect there on that deadly injection. Chips is going to explode here a little bit, taking 24 weaken damage. And weaken is definitely a big thing to have against a healer. I think it does reduce the healing they do or something to that effect. So if you can get it off on Chips and then capitalize. Nice Volcano there on a Jackasm. I guess he didn't have a Kunju available. And, these guys really like in their zoning. They really don't change. They go left to right side. They never go top to bottom. They like the left to right. Maybe it's maybe side scroller kind of thing. But Volcano lands on a Sunbeam right there, doing a little bit of damage. And Counter Volcano does miss from Bud. But Iverson, again, taking a lot of damage. And looks like they're going to go into Chips. And, wow, a lot of pressure on Iverson there during that exchange. So he could not be more aggressive than he was. And he actually takes a crippling fire from Rex right there. But EX Spacebar comes in, and Rex is taking a lot of pressure as a Goo comes out right on the Sunbeam, and he is in a lot of trouble right now. Tempest from Jack as I'm locking his cooldowns. Huge play right there from Jack, really making that kill happen, as well as obviously the Goo to do majority damage against the barriers, everything to do to break through Sunbeam's health.
That was a good play right there. MVP, Rex for that round. I'm going to give it to him. Team support with Chip Saiyan. He's like, I bet Iverson's going to come in with this Goo. And then he just conflagrated and, just punished the crap out of him. It's just like Iverson had to go back. Then, he was out of position. Bud and Sunbeam were trying to deal with Jack. And then, Jack was over here so he could get support from Chip and Rex if needed. So, very good, improv awareness and positioning attunement from the Cold team, and that's why they are regarded as one of the best in Soviet Russia. So Living Flame, not going to take any of that damage. It's very important to not give meter to the other team. And that's what these guys are most worried about right now. And, they're giving Jack free meter right there with the double Whirlwind, and, they have to sort of hide at this point, because now the Cold team got the rune, they have the map position, and Jack hasn't... Look, they're clustered up, double Volcano almost, and, they're just being forced back in the corner. This is not what they want by any means whatsoever. Conflagration goes out, and Sunbeam could be going down any second. Let's see what Iverson can do, and maybe, but from the corner, Goo comes out, but no, it's just going to get Jackasm barely. Tempest, Goomba Stomp comes out, Jackasm actually getting somewhat low. He could be going down. What a turnaround of events, and yes, he does go down, so a little bit overextension into the corner. Triple ults onto him. Not much you can do right there. And Chip Saiyan just couldn't give him the barrier, couldn't clarity, couldn't stop anything from going out. And that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. It looks bad, but, just one punt. You got your teammates coming back in to help you out. And this game is completely turned around, but it's not over yet by any means. Maybe once Rex dies right there, and
Yeah, that's
now
over
it's
now by any means.
yeah, it's over right now. As amazing as Chip is at healing, he can't take on 3v1 with these high caliber players.
Yeah, that was a huge play from the entire team of Mushin. They were just supporting each other all over the place. Sunbi by all means should have died right there. He had like 15% HP. He got Tempest from Jack in the corner. All his shit was locked down. All of a sudden, a Goomba stomp from Iverson locked down Jack long enough to basically make it so Jackasm couldn't stay aggressive on him anymore. And it was basically a counter aggression, and he basically capitalized on himself. So huge play right there, supporting each other, and that was huge right there. That bring it to a 2-2 with a 1-1 map. So you can't get any closer than this right now, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, whoever wins this one is going to winners finals, and you gotta think. Obviously, no one wants to go to losers anything. So they're going to be this one's going to be a hard fought match. And Iverson again, he likes that aggression. Jack has him taking a lot there. That country could have benefited Team Mushin right there with him going so far back, but they got to take care of Chips a little bit. And Goomba Stomp there on the Jackasm. You can't conjure that or anything. And he's taking a lot of damage. Barrier is out. And here comes a Goo on the Chips. And nice clarity putting him back in. But a punt out from Iverson. Kind of strange. A little bit early, I guess. But they really want to get that kill. And Jackasm goes down. This is huge right here for Team Mushin. They got to reset their health a little bit and get back to... I guess Iverson's just going to go right back into it. He's got half HP, so he is getting healed up, and it looks like it could be enough. Watch the volcano. He is going to avoid the volcano, and I think this one's going to be cleaned up here fairly shortly as Chip's about to go down, and Team Mushin is going to go to winners finals, and ISR getting knocked out in the third round. Nice matches, though.
It is double elimination, though.
Right. I knocked down, I meant to say.
Yeah.
Not really knocked out.
So they're not over yet. But they do have more of a hill to climb, and they're going to have to get used to not sitting in that Grand Finals winner seed seat.
Yeah, good thing, too, because, they were getting a little too comfy in that chair. They were, writing their names on it and everything, so...
Carving their names on it with their golden goblets that they have.
Dude, they got fists. They don't have goblets. Goblets for noobs like us.
Oh, no, they're icons. Look at Rex. It's a hammer. I guess it's a hammer.
Is that what that is? Oh, yeah, it looks like that
hammer.
Warhammer hammer.
Warhammer Online.
No, seriously, it looks like that hammer because they got that face on it, that skull. Looks just like the Space Marine hammer. Anyway, a little bit of lore there for everyone. Not important, but doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm excited to see Mushin can take it. One more. We're going to winners finals next, I believe. I hope.
Yeah. No, I don't know why I'm in this game then. So we're gonna have to see Mushin and then Nami Nami. That was actually gonna be Skitlight versus Tea and Crumpets. We're not going to watch that game. That is in the losers bracket. But Skitlight does, if you saw right there real quickly, Musashi, he is back into the game. He just has work, so he joins the tournaments late. But I'm going to put this up on the main screen right now just so you can see where the tournament progress is at. You guys were watching in Soviet Russia and Mushin right there. I'm just going to refresh this. Whoop. There you go. And hopefully, he will get more of the scores updated. But, we have Skitlight, Tea and Crumpets down here at the bottom. You Go Girl, Donors by Heart going on. And then we're going to watch Nami Nami versus Mushin for our next match in the winners finals. This is not the grand finals right here, but this is the grand finals, culminating both the winners and the losers bracket, for the final showdown. But we are going to be watching the winners finals pretty soon, as I am just waiting for a game invite from either Mushin or Nami Nami.
These guys. They just
Stream Monsters.
Did you see what Sunbi and Wojo just did? They just joined Two's matchmaking and got in the game.
Oh wow! If they don't start in 5 minutes, they're gonna be disqualified. Not gonna lie. So they better know that. No, they aren't doing Two's matchmaking. You're such a liar.
I am 100% serious.
All right.
I saw the purple. I saw the purple on him, and I was like, "Well, what's going on?"
Yeah. Well, I let him know, and that's a rule that we have. If you are gonna be not serious about the tournament, you have 5 minutes to start your game and to get bans and picks underway. If you're not gonna do that, then you're gonna be DQ'd. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, it looks like they left though.
Yeah,
They're
I
no
would
longer
say
in the
that's a
game.
good choice.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, come on now. It's just matchmaking. You can make it up in two games, and you can make it up. So, who cares?
Yeah, so. Alright, looks like they got their
Holy cow.
serious face on, and, they made the game.
All right, Eve.
I got you. I got you
Alright.
in. Dude, Taz, you are trolling me, aren't you, buddy?
I'm not. I'm 100% serious,
dude, you are trolling me. You're so bad.
I'm not trolling, dude. If you had him on your friends list, you would have seen.
Dude,
But no, too new.
I wasn't looking at that, though. I was gonna put up this fancy contact info if you wanna, see what's going on at BL Gaming. We haven't had much content out recently because I've been busy, but I promise to get more out tonight. Recap on what's been going on this week, what's been, happening with the last tournament, get the new Kill the King banner out and things like that. I know I am way far behind, but, I do this for free, and I do this just because I love the game, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want to get more involved with Borderland Gaming or BL Gaming, in short, we do have a IRC channel, so we'll announce whenever we have a stream going on. We'll announce when new content is updated and things like that, or when we're having an in-house. So join us on IRC. QuakeNet, just pound BL Gaming. You can go there. We have a public Ventrilo. A couple more people have signed on ever since I've been doing this, and it's always good to talk to new players. It doesn't matter whether you're from the U.S. or from Europe. You can talk to us there as long as you have good attitude, and you'll stay in. We got a bunch of experienced players there, some newer players in there. We'll help you out, whatever you need. I'll be in there chilling if you want to talk to me as well for most of the day. And any comments, questions, improvements with the stream, as you saw there, I got to give another shout out to Taka, as he did give me the improvements for the stream, give me some nice PNGs, spicing things up. So comments, questions, suggestions, help, by all means, contact me at cast@blgaming.com. And I don't know what that random throat voice change thing happened. But anyways, we are going to be watching Mushin on the warm team, and it is not in Soviet Russia on the cold team. It is Team Nami Nami.
Nami. Yeah, we got to shout out to Semler too, though. He's doing a good job so far, and he is, all by himself. It's rough adminning these tournaments all by yourself, especially Rexus can tell you that, as he likes to, speak with us and vent how it's, it can be hair pulling at some times. So, it's definitely props to him for, learning this so quickly, picking it up, and helping us out here today.
No, I'll definitely agree, and shoutouts to all 500 viewers. With no Bloodgate posts at all whatsoever from the developers, 500 people. And, this isn't the most, well-smoothed tournament with, Similar just trying to play admin for a day. And, you guys are here always for the community, always knowing what's going on. So BL Gaming hardcore fans and Bloodline Champion fans, thanks for tuning in. So, bad luck, good fun, apparently, from OSQ, as he's just making fun of the good luck, have fun. But here we go. We're going to get off into the first round, and immediately First Blood goes to Need and Viz with a disabling shot onto Iverson. And Molk gonna try and find an opening. Yeah, okay, bud. Trying to get those cross-court shots in. Oh, a pull on the Alchemist. That is going to force a lot of positioning error right there. He's going to have to run back, but good team support. Nice knockback. Iverson coming in. Reset of a position. Just waiting for that time to get in. Gonna try to go on a Need and Viz, and it looks like Sunby again got pulled and is down to 50% HP already. Fear going out, and it looks like this warm team is crumbling. They're gonna have to come up with some kind of, good position or good tactic, and that is the third pull in a row that Sunby has been in. And he is just not having the time of his life against the Thorn. He needs more support from Yao K-Bud over there, and the goo comes out. Molk just gonna space out of there though. Maybe a little bit preemptive, and the lockdown misses because Yao K-Bud did Living Flame that, and it is going to be a minor reset. Definitely a huge advantage for the cold team in terms of health, and a good jump out from Need and Viz. Not going to be taking that Goomba Stomp, and it looks like, Yao K-Bud going to conflagrate over up to the top, and they actually kill OSQ, who's way out, away from Molk and away from Need and Viz. So great burst damage right there, but it's not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. Iverson is very low. Mushrooms are on him. And Molk can do a lot of damage, but look at this, Yao K-Bud trying to deal with the gunner, easily does so, wipes off his shoulder sleeves at the same time, and it looks like, what turned from a very bad situation into a complete victory.
Yeah, bad position right there from OSQ, I think it was, who got taken advantage of at the very top of the map. I think that was the Herald, right?
So, what? Yeah, at the top, OSQ.
Yeah, the first death. That
Mm-hmm.
was real bad positioning on his part. I mean, by all means, Mulk was having his way with Sunby. I mean, Sunby getting pulled 3 times in a row. There's no way you should recover from that just like that. I mean, that was kind of they could have easily taken advantage of that, and it just didn't happen. So a bit unfortunate, but Mushin going to go ahead 1-0 here in these in the rounds for this map, and in a good spot already. And, Mulk's not being as a big a factor as the last few games we've watched from him, and he's the Ravener has a lot to do with that, as Ravener does control a lot of the momentum on a battlefield. If he can stay aggressive, then the team. Oh, nice interrupt there from that lockdown, but lockdown is going to happen anyways, and Iverson and Wojo are going to be getting hit with that, and they are going to be moving. Oh, nice pull there right after Wojo spaces. He gets pulled right by him, and actually Goo comes out there, going to take out OSQ, and OSQ again be first to get taken out, and these guys are really spaced out across the map here. Hard to see, but wow, nice execute right after the spacebar on Iverson, and he gets taken out there, and actually the healths are really low for both sides. Wojo really needs that heal badly, and I thought that was going to be enough right there, but 1M1 comes out, somebody's going to get the kill, and that looks like that's the way it's going to end, unless Thorn can make a miracle happen, and looks like Crippling Fire, that instant attack, is going to kill him.
Warm Igniter needs food badly. Gauntlet Legends reference right there.
Wow, that was like NES old school.
Dude,
Holy hell.
that was Gauntlet Legends, buddy. In 64 style. But, yeah, I mean, it was pretty close, and OSQ just got capitalized on. And the thing is like, with the temporal lockdown, they should have gone for Sunby. No mobility, and the other two were locked down. They could have done so much, and OSQ was just stuck up on this little channel again, away from Need Invis and away from Mulk. So they have to work on that, but right now they have Iverson down to about 40% HP, and it looks like Yaokeba's just doing his own thing. Here they go. They're going to collapse onto him, and no, a Volcano comes out. That's going to give him a ton of energy, and now it's going to be who can kill the healer the fastest, and it looks like OSQ does go down, and it is just going to be another face roll. Well, actually, this time it was a face roll. The other two were pretty close, not going to lie. But, Rockets come out, and the last desperate attempt for both of these, two Cold Team members to finish things up, as it looks like Mulk is just going to go down. Thank goodness that female Thorn is not going to terrorize our children and other people at night. Give us nightmares for the rest of eternity.
No kidding. Yeah, and 3-0 in the winners' finals. Not something you usually want to see, but definitely shows the amount of domination this Mushin team has thrown out right now. I can't see the Cold Team changing comp, but at the same time, they definitely could. And actually they are. Psychopomp comes out in OSQ already, and I guess the Herald just wasn't doing the trick for them, as you'd think it would against an Igniter, and they do have a decent amount of range.
You gotta have good team support, though, when you're playing a Herald. Mulk didn't come back for him. OSQ got a little bit out of position. The gunner, he'd be trying to do some DPS, but no mortars would come out to help him. And as a Herald, you gotta make sure you have solid pressure and that you can stay in the back lines, and if something happens, a pull will come out. But it just didn't happen, and Psychopomp's a safer choice. I think it's a good swap.
Yep. It definitely can stay out of trouble a lot easier as a pomp, that's for sure. And, it's a little easier if you miss a space or whatnot. It's a lot more forgiving, I guess, than a Herald. As Herald, you have to land your concussive bubble, or the hell it's called. The bubble and the spacebar are just so important, and you have to land it perfectly, especially against an alchemist who's just going to wait to counter goo you. So you always got to be wary of that, even on any healer for that matter, as the way out for Pomp is the spacebar or other side. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. And already, again, Iverson going aggressive. Actually, Wojo going in really aggressive this time against all 3 team members there, and actually nothing comes out of it, surprisingly. So actually, Execute came out, but I guess it didn't hit anybody. I don't know if somebody just got there, but already an ulti from Mulk coming out, and Iverson sitting in the ulti for some reason. He's dropping really low.
Oh.
And nice reflect there onto that Soul Link, and wow, Need and Viz got taken out there. Unbelievable. I did not expect to see that happen, and I'm surprised they recovered as well as they did this round. I did not see that coming.
That was a ginormous spinning strike by Iverson right there to reflect a double Spiritual Link. That does a ton of damage on its own, but the debuff it applies, which spreads 20% of all damage you take to allies over, I think, 5 seconds, that's huge. That's like where a majority of Pomp's damage comes from, and it was reversed back onto the Cold team, and, while they were applying that heavy pressure, it just absolutely took him out. So a little bit of a blunder. Great play by Iverson right there. And we're going to see Molk do a little bit more this time. It looks like they are applying a bit more pressure. Yeah, okay, Bud forced to retreat a tiny bit as Iverson... Oh, again, look at that Soulbind, absolutely reflected. And the whole Cold team is taking damage right now from anything that touches them. And so that's really huge that gets reflected. So Iverson's going to try and do that as much as possible as he's going in. And look at this, nice support, and it looks like, yeah, okay, Bud can almost get a triple conflagrate over there. Not going to happen, and he's not going to need to, as there's only 2 teammates left. And again, reflected rockets and reflected M1s from the Psychopomp and Gunnar. Iverson is absolutely doing so much damage. Look, 55 from Spiritual Link. That was the most of his damage that he did. And Soulbind as well, because that's the debuff that you get. It's absolutely ridiculous. Cannot let that happen against a Ravener.
I think he reflected all 3 Soul Links, actually, that Pomp threw at him. So kind of a misplay for the Pomp to actually be going after the Ravener when he can just as easily go after someone that can avoid. I mean, the other guys, they got Inner Flame on the Igniter, but somebody doesn't have a whole lot to avoid with except for actually avoiding. So maybe you might want to change that. Molk taking a crap ton of damage right now. He just got, the heat just turned up on him, and he's doing everything he can right now to try to resist. Oh, he actually just seated himself right to the face. And actually, Eden Viz gets taken out before he does. And Eden Viz was at 5% HP. And wow, this did not look like a winner's finals match, ladies and gentlemen. This looked like a loser's match. And they just got kind of smushed into the ground right there. And Mushin is going to the grand finals as the winner's finals champion.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And for Mr. Skit Light over there, with the new netcode change, that's really not the case. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Yeah, it's a little bit of a difference, but it's not as bad as it was in closed beta. If you play with 100 MS, like they were doing, 110 MS, it's not quite as bad. And for that much of a rollover, there's something more than just ping disadvantage there. They got played by positioning and by, combos. So, the netcode in this game is actually pretty good. Taz, you say it's almost like Heroes of Newerth in the sense where you can almost play on Europe and you won't notice a whole lot, right?
Well, you can't really compete with Heroes of Newerth netcode. I think it's by far the best netcode I've ever seen for any multiplayer game in the last probably 5 years. But at the same time, if you're under, I guess everyone says it's 150, but I say anything under 125 ping, you're basically playing on the same as someone with maybe 50 ping, I would say. So it's not a huge difference when you're playing. I mean, maybe these higher games maybe a little bit different, but at the same time, it's not
game breaking. Yeah, it's not game breaking.
It's not going to if the only reason they're losing is because of ping, then obviously they're just looking for a reason. So that's to them to deal with. And the fact is, I mean, our kill the or was it
Kill the King?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually European based now. So, and that's the cash tournament. So these guys really have no reason to complain, quite honestly.
Well, it wasn't the team. It was, I don't know, somebody posing as Skit Light in the chat.
Well, I see Poofin too. He's Euro.
Poofin, yeah, Poofin's Euro.
The Euro guys are always the one that can as all through closed beta. Basically, if you were an American player, you had to play on Euro servers. So we lived basically to be used to playing on Euro pings. And it's funny how the Euro guys really hate playing on American ping, but we've always had to. So it's just something I've noticed over time in this game. You always the Americans always are used to the high ping. You remember back in the Oars days, back when it was Iverson, OK Bud, and Hafu. Yeah. I mean, they won a couple European tournaments, with U.S. ping. So you can't really say. And that was against in Soviet Russia during, their prime time, I would say.
I mean, this whole ping issue, not going to bring it up again. And yes, ping does deal a factor. I'm not saying it's...
Very little.
Yeah, but, It does play a little bit of a factor, but, that's why we have the U.S. and the European tournaments. If you're going to be a European team, and you're going to play in a U.S. tournament, don't complain. You have no room to complain because you know it's going to be on U.S. servers. You know, you can wait till Sunday to play on the European servers where you have the advantage yourself and things like that. So, you know, this is all for the community. You know, like, I don't like seeing people get all hyped up and just being like, oh, it's because of ping and things like that. You know, this is a small game and it's very high paced, very high action, but you know, we're trying to do the best we can with the resources we have, and things are going to be improving. But, you know, I'm glad that you guys are just all, like, amped up. Actually, I I sort of have to get excited, too, at the same time, as much as, like, I want to, you know, sort of bash people for it, because you guys are so pumped about this. You're like, oh, man, it's because, you know, this, and this. So you guys are, like, really amped up about this game and the tournaments that are going on. So, you know, shout-outs to you guys for getting all excited, even though we might rage at you a little bit. But, you know, regardless, we are going to be watching Team in Soviet Russia on the warm team and Skitlight on the cold team. Here it is, popular map, Tubaku the Fallen Fortress. Tubaku the Fallen Fortress. So, here we go. And what is Rex saying? Oh yeah, Sobi1 is gone. He's on a cruise for 2 weeks with his wife. So, we'll see how things go. And oh, great Living Flame right there after that execute comes out in Die Hard. Let's see how he does as Gunner against Rex's Igniter, as it is somewhat of a hard lineup. Nice knockback, gonna get him out of the range, and Jackasm gonna be trying to apply some pressure. This is on European servers, so no complaining from anybody here. Jackasm already down to about 30% HP. Chipsan's gonna have to heal him back up. And like, look at this. Good players, they come back to their healers. Note that, guys, for all you new players out there. Go back to your healers and, like, you know, make sure that you're dodging while you're running back, but, you know, get that heal, get topped off and things like that. And looks like everybody but Jackasm has their ultimate. Musashi also down a little bit as well. Chipsan going to be going in balls deep against Musashi, and we'll see how that goes. Conflagration comes out, and Musashi could be going down. He can't get out of the goo in time, and Tempest from Jackasm off into the corner. Just going to be coming in onto Die Hard, making sure no executes come out onto Rex, who was vulnerable, didn't have a space, didn't have Living Flame. And I think that's pretty much going to wrap things up for now, as Fire Beam comes out for the lull.
Yeah, it is cool looking, but man, the damage on that seems like it's horse crap. So I don't know.
A lot of it comes from the burn that it applies as well.
I guess. I mean, I'm just not convinced that it's like a good use of like meter. So I don't know.
It
seems like it could be good. It's the problem with it is that you can trance it for some reason. I don't know why. Like, you shouldn't be able to trance that because it's like a beam. It's like a flamethrower kind of. You know, you can't trance flamethrower, but for some reason you can trance that. So. I guess it's the same thing as like tractor beam, though. You can trans tractor beam as well.
Astronomer's astral beam. So.
Yeah, I guess it's the beam thing, but you know the damage isn't enough to make up for the 40% energy. I don't think, because the ulti is just so easy to obtain on igniters. So either way, you know, obviously I started taking that one pretty strong. And Musashi, you know, he's sitting on 7 ping, so
Musashi.
That's pretty remarkable. Yeah, Musashi. Oh yeah, I guess it is. I thought it was 2 S's. Anyway. A little bit of zoning going on. It looks like Rex is taking a bit of damage here, but Jack is going to go aggressive here on Lana. And, you know, the Nomad trying to make something happen to get him off, but, you know, Jack is just not afraid, and he's just sticking to it. And here comes the execute on a Rex here. Big damage on a Rex. So Boomerang Storm also on a Chips. Chips is going to force to, you know, stay back because, you know, Boomerang Storm against something like a Alchemist just so powerful and nothing you can really do about it because the snare is so much. And Die Hard dropping really low here. Jack has him jumping in, but nice swap there from Lana, keeping him away from that harpoon. And a counter goo comes out. Where's the clarity potion? No clarity, going to knock him back in. Oh, Lana swaps himself back into the goo. He's going to be taking a bit here, but also a Guardian Spear comes out from Lana, and a big damage / heals could be coming out here anytime. And it just doesn't look like it's going to be enough to get the burst out. And Jack is still sitting pretty high HP as Die Hard does fall down right there. And Rex again with the beam coming out. Just, I don't know, maybe trolling a little bit. It doesn't really matter, I guess, because this is a 2v3 situation. And, you know, with Jack full HP, Rex is still decent HP. It's definitely a hard one to come back from at this point. EX Scream comes out from Lana to get rid of Jackasm, but other side does come out. Boomerang Storm comes out, and here's the counter goo against all their ultimates, basically. And I think he just canceled his own Boomerang Storm. He's going to lose it now, so didn't matter anyways, as they are going to get taken out. And ISR 2-0.
Yeah, I actually want to mention something that Chipsan did. Something very key. In the face of pressure, you know, rockets were coming out from Die Hard. Now he's like, okay, Die Hard's low. I'm going to throw out an instant injection for 30 damage and kill him. You know, don't just try and automatically run away. If you can kill a target that has a channeled ability, because he's just going to stand there, do it. So he threw out an instant injection.